Testing, testing. Hello there. Just gonna check that my voice stuff is actually on. Welcome to the stream, and today we are working on Kenny Jam, and we'll be doing this for 2 days. So it'll be today and tomorrow. Well, that music is loud. Let's turn that down a little. Okay, cool. So yeah. Let's get going. Let's do this. Let's do this. It's been a fun few weeks. We've done a lot of UI, and now we're back onto game dev. So let's jump into my scene here. This is the music we're listening to. These awesome people have a cool little story about how they just got together and made this, and then it can be on your streams. So that's what we're listening to. This is the Kenny Jam. The theme is power, or power like electric. I like power. Like if you've ever played Prototype from PlayStation era fame, then you'll understand. Prototype is a pretty cool game, and it has a real good sense of power. Power. Okay, let's read the rules. We got 2 days. We've got to get this in by the 20th at 9 a.m. I just check my calendar here. That is Sunday morning. So yep. Not Saturday morning, Sunday morning. So we have a decent amount of time. I'll be streaming. Usually I only stream in the morning. Usually I do 2 streams, sometimes 1 stream, one long stream in the morning. This time we're going to do morning and afternoon, and I'll have a little break in between for lunch. But we'll get as many hours in as we can. At minimum 8 hours, because that is your typical 9 till 5, and my job is streaming, so kind of got to do that. Okay, so task manager, not task manager. I don't need to scare my computer into working. I do need to automatically hide my taskbar, so that'll be cool. Okay, so the theme is power. Like I say, I've already got something in my head that I want to do with just like smashing the ground and having stuff explode, and just something that gives you a sense of power. Create the game only using assets from here and here. You can use, edit, remix them however you like. See the rules below. A theme is announced at the beginning of the jam, which we now have. Use the hashtag KennyJam, which I did put on the stream. So fingers crossed that's working. Let's take a quick look at that. Let's go YouTube. Let's go UX is fine. I've got the Kenny Jam here. This one, I mean, I don't know why it's I don't know why it's not used the one that I said I was going to do, but hey, you're here, so welcome. I guess it's not going to do the notify to the people that followed, but anyway, we're live. Let's have a look at these assets. So thousands of completely free game assets. Pretty sure I have the full. Pretty sure I have the full pack. I'm pretty sure I've paid for this before. Let me inspect my emails. I will be momentarily silent while I check my emails. Kenny. It's on a different account. So let's log in with a different account. Forgot password? Email. Waiting for it to get back to me. Okay, so let's just look at the free ones. Let's just look at the free ones. Hey, free assets. So this immediately says power, because guns. So we could always do some stuff with that. You could also be a kaiju walking through a city, just destroying everything. That could say power. Could do a racing thing, I guess. It doesn't excite me too much. Keep looking around. Alright, itch.io, reset my password, sure. My library. Kenney All-in-One, world's biggest game asset bundle. Download. Download. Actually, quite small. It's really good. Oh look, some UI. Sadly, I'm just going to jump down a little bit on here. There's some prizes. We're not here for prizes. Jam is 48 hours. Submit the game within your local time frame. What are the limitations? You must only use game assets, 2D sprites, models, textures created by Kenney or KKit. See the FAQ below for asset usage. There is a theme. You can work in a team, ongoing solo. Should my game work in the browser? You can target any device. Less people will play your entry. Well, we're using Unreal, so less people are going to play it. Can I take audio files from other sources? Yes, audio, sound effects, and music, plus fonts can be custom made or gathered from other sources. That's good to know, because I guess Kenney doesn't do sounds or music. Is other Kenney software allowed? No, only pre-made game assets. So you can't use the asset forge, etc. That's fine, because I don't know how to use that. Can I continue development after the jam? Yes. You hold all rights to any submission you make, and all the assets Kenney made are public domain licensed. Cool. Can I add the Kenney Jam logo to my submissions? Yes, feel free to include the logo seen on top of this page to your Splash or Game Jam. You can find a package of logos here. Well, I nicked the I nicked it from the website, so from itch.io. I stole it straight from there. FAQ on asset. Limit yourself to. Oh right, yeah. Limit yourself to only using the game assets provided. You can edit, color, rescale, combine assets. Animations are allowed. Additional and custom-made animations. I'll have to ask in the chat whether I can use animation packs in the event that I do animations. We haven't decided on what we're doing yet, so we don't know if we're even going to have characters. Custom materials and shaders of VFX is allowed, but textures should be sourced from the assets provided. Using basic primitives isn't allowed, but you'll find stuff in the engine. It's not allowed to use models, textures, or other assets that come with your game engine, so like noise maps and things like that I'd want to use for certain effects, no. If you can't find a game asset, you'll find an alternative. Drop an idea. If you feel your question hasn't been answered yet, we trust you and your own judgment. It means to be a game jam where you challenge yourself to only use pre-made assets. Trying to think of edge cases or circumvent them is not in the spirit of the jam. So yeah, the whole idea is we're going to, whatever pack we get, we'll make all of our effects from it. Sounds we can take from other places. I need to confirm about animations if we're going to do a game with characters. For experienced jammers, we've got optional bonus challenges. I am an experienced jammer. I've done a lot of jams. So let's do some of these. So this is the rule that I wanted to mention, because if I use this kit here, the game is going to be made out of these guns. So like, you could just do it where your character is one of these guns. And so you're just like firing around, and then there's like enemies that are these guns just floating around and fighting you. Oh, I've moved my light. I just looked at my screen and I'm like, I'm not quite lit very well. Let's actually go for circle cam as well today, because we're not doing a timer. Let's do that. Okay, so yeah, if I use one pack, then this is what I get. There are no textures that come in that pack. Well, I'm pretty sure this is going to be colored by material ID. So all of our UI except font is going to be made with these assets as like the borders. If we're going to try and do the single pack, your game should only use a single asset pack. Pretty funny. You could get quite creative with that and try and make a UI entirely from these guns. Or we can make a game that starts with a UI pack and we try and make an entire game that just uses this UI pack that also has the theme of power somehow. Yeah, not going to happen with that one. Let's have a look at the rest of these. So no text. I'm down for that. Let's get a to-do list going. So we'll go new list, Kenney Jam. Minimize this, bring up the checklist. Max, min. Cool, we've got our Kenney Jam list. So no text. No text. Mouse only. Your game should be fully controlled using only the mouse. You could possibly do that. Co-op. I would like to make it co-op because I can. So that could be cool. Could go co-op. Symmetry. Your game should heavily feature symmetrical elements. I really like that. Let's just put this all in one. Symmetry. Two M's and one T. Because I can spell. No text. Symmetry. Co-op. We could also do the 2D, 3D. So 2D sprites in a 3D world, or 2.5D. So we could play with that. We could try and do mouse only. I think that's fine. We could cross, and we could try 2.5D. We could try that. So that's cool. That's just a reminder for that stuff. So I'm interested to see what games have won in the past. Connection. Are these the games that won? You'd have to go submissions, maybe? Results? Ship It? Game about rowing a boat? So that's quite cute. Obviously I can't tell what the gameplay is without a video, but pretty cool. Spiritual Bond. I can see the lumen. I can see the poorly optimized lumen happening there. Because I think it's what that is. And you can see it here as well. But this looks cute. It's got some sort of like world hopping maybe by the looks. Cool. I think I've seen this one. This is like a really cool little 2.5D. Second drag. Sure. I did it. Put that in there. What? What's going on? Okay, number 2 only wanted to go wherever number 1 was. Because they're connected. I get it. Right, so let's go in here. go here. Wait. Oh, okay, I get it. Right, so you go over here. I accidentally did that correctly, or it's broken. So we go here. And then we go here. Connected. Go here. No, wait, don't go there. Go here. Oh. Oh, it goes exactly wherever you went. I see. It tracks your movement. Now it makes more sense to me. I'm getting it now. So we go through here. Oh. Anyway, so that's cool. It's a cool game. So that won that year. Let's go results. Enchanted Realms. Wow, there's a lot. Oh, I guess it's like 9th place and stuff. Let's have a look at it. I only had 9 ratings. And so what I feel is the case is people are just going to rate the ones at the top. So let's not worry too much about ratings, but let's see what this is about. Oh, I've seen this one actually. This is the one where it's like a little village. A little dude. He runs around, he has a sword, he can pick things up from a chest. Oh, that's cool. Remember your goal. Explore the world. Destroy the corrupted gems. Restore the corrupted realm in this case. And use the power of the gem. Power. That's the name of the game. Okay. Okay, can I go in the buildings? Okay, the baker's pastries are simply divine. Oh. There is a chest. I will take it. Yeah. Okay, so I've got to restore some power from a gem. We've got 2 sets of music going on right now. Can I can mute this just by going here and just turning the sound off for a second. Hey buddy, I really need an helmet, my dude. We're just going north. What's in this chest? A bigger sword. I like this one. Hang on, okay. Hey, you. You're strong. You're stronger than I expected. Oh. Kind of needs a heal. It looks like you heal over time. Oh. Did I reach the top? I guess I'm going pretty fast. I love that the animation is like wibble wobble, wibble wobble, wibble wobble. It just like moves left and right. Very cool. Yeah, and he looks different ways when you turn him, which is not... Oh god, that's a mimic. Okay, Sunhaven. Oh no, can't go through there. My murder hobo. Anyway. Cool. Nice little game. Growth. Again, it's like it's all web games, and that's probably why they get the most votes. Nope. Start. Let's go. Snake. Did I hit the wall? Yeah. Can I eat this? No. Is there anything I can eat? Aha. Oh. It spawned an enemy right on me. Okay, cool. Rotation. Oh, this is going to be a cool little space game, obviously, because the spaceship really gave it away. I know the rules here. Oh, they're all really loud. I would like to listen to it, but my gosh, is it loud. Control with A and D. I do like these games. I used to have a game like this. It was like a hexagon tunnel. My god, is it loud though? I'm gonna turn it down for you guys. Oh god. Alright, so sorry about that. That was super loud. Can't hear my music now. There we go. Alright, I'm back. So, that was that one. Okay, and what we got 2020? Curse Ahoy. Kenney Jam, first place. Congrats. You're in command of the Caribbean's most notorious ghost ship, the Emerald Anchor. Your destiny is to curse all other ships in the harbour without being spotted. Be quick, be smart. WASD, set sail. You are in control of a cursed ship. Approach nearby civilian vessels to put them under our command. Arg. Understood. Yar, next voyage. Curse all the ships to gain control of them. The more ships you have near an uncursed vessel, the quicker it will fall under your control. Okay, so we'll take the one that's on its own. I'm glad they don't shoot back. That makes this a nice little tutorial. The benefit of being cursed is that you can move through whatever you like. Head through that wall of rocks. Sure thing, boss. Whoosh. Okay. The landlubber immortals have set themselves up these lookout lighthouses to catch cursed ships. Stay out of their line of sight. Sure thing. Am I going to have enough time? Oh yeah, we got this. Yahar! Use the rocks to your advantage, hide in them. Sure. Oh, let's go back. Cool. I got this. I got this. If you move diagonally, you move faster because it's not based on magnitude direction. Cool. Next voyage. Oh, there lies a lookout. Oh. Yep. Cool. Yar, next. Having two ships under your control can sometimes be a burden. Be quick and be smart. Two lighthouses. Tricky. Does one lighthouse block the other? No, it doesn't. That's kind of sad. Cutting it close. There we go. Next voyage. It's all about speed and timing. Sure. Nah. I'm not being beat. I got this. I know what I'm doing. Just gotta wait for a second. What? Okay, well. Great game. Awesome little game. Okay, so power. Power with no text. Emphasis on symmetry. Co-op, which could lead into the symmetry thing. Mouse only. 2.5D. Let's see what we have. Hey, Ruben. Nice to see you. We're doing a games jam today. Usually we do a little bit of UI. Sometimes we do multiplayer streams. Games dev stuff. So yeah, today is games jam. And next week I'll be doing the pirate jam as well. But today, let's take a look at the let's take a look at the KK assets. Doing this games jam, it's based on theme power. Talking about making something co-op. But we'll see. We'll see. Is there anything free on KKit? Twitter, website. Website. Okay, what's the website? Game assets. Anything for free? I've seen this guy before. Download the pack here. You can actually just use this. Yeah, little prototype bits. It's pretty cool. Power. 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 I don't want to do something that's based on electric. That's the first thing. If you open a pack, you get to choose your own price. And most have a free tier. Okie dokie. So then let's just look for something that we're interested in using. Ooh, animations. Oh, that's cute. I like that. That's a cute little animation pack. Oh, yes. Yes. We could make a game about being a necromancer. I have the power. That could be cool. Happy, base, angry, blend shapes, cool. Personal commercial. Support me on Patreon. Yeah, okay, so we got little dudes. Spearman, mage, swordsman. Let's have a look at this. Is this just a bigger pack? What am I looking at here? This asset pack was remastered into a more optimized version, although the contents differ slightly. I would still recommend using the newer version. Sure thing. Okay, yeah. Have we still got something that looks like a necromancer? Or that we could make look like a necromancer? We've got these big golems, that's cool. Ah! The necromancer. The story writes itself. Also includes an alternate texture, which, I mean, I'd probably just use the blue ones. So that's cool. We'll keep that one open. Let's get a fig jam going. So we've got a little fig jam here. Power. Game flow. Yeah, we're not going to worry about that yet. We'll worry about that later. First we've got like a necromancer game. Necromancer game. So in this game, you would control necromancer with your mouse. Weak attack. You would kill and revive units to amass an army. Units spawn around the map. And you would just like move around with the mouse, and you'd need bigger armies to fight bigger sets of enemies. Pretty simple, pretty sweet. That'd be a cool one. And we'll grab the grab this as an image. So that's pretty cool. Extra only. Okay. So that was cool. So now I just need to make a game that's only made out of these assets. So you could basically just have a floor. You could have some really scaled up versions of these skeletons. And you could just be attempting to turn all the red skeletons into blue ones, I guess. And then you'd have some big golems that you would attack. And they'd basically be moving around as little squads. Oh, I don't mind spending the money. I'll support artists for sure. That's fine. Yeah. I could also just color shift the original, because it doesn't look like there's actually a difference. I suppose there is a difference because the yeah, if you color shifted the whole thing, obviously it's not going to work very well, but anyway. Oh yeah, I do need the extra anyway because I want the golem and I want the necromancer. Activate and embed. Oh, and we got some animations. Walk backwards, sure. It's running with a shield, probably. There's going to be a lot of animations, aren't there? I'm just staring at this, like waiting to see what we got, and see if there's any inspiration in here. Use item, yeah, that's pretty cool. Unlimited power. There's a lot. There's a lot. Let's playback speed this. Attacks. Some of you got a swing. Yeah, nice. Cool. You got a swing. Swing and a slash. That's pretty cool. Jump attack. It's pretty cool. Oh my god. Dual wielding. Now that is power. This just makes me want to make a dual wielded sword guy from a third person perspective, fighting waves of skeletons, which is not a particularly crazy game design, but it's a game design that we can finish in 2 days. What do you think you'll make the game genre? So for power, I want to go with something action oriented. So it's either going to be top down or third person over shoulder, sort of like following your character. No puzzle game mechanics, no mazes, no narratives. Like, although I did do a game jam once with a narrative in, and it actually got an honorable mention. But the reason I just want to go for something that's like juicy, that you can pick up and play and enjoy and have a good feeling after playing, and then you give it some upvotes, right? So although we did say we don't really care about the winning the jam, I think in the spirit of the jam, it's just like, let's challenge ourselves, make a game with just these assets and not worry about it too much. Also make something that I'd be proud of making, that aligns with something that I want to make. So I've got like a backlog of games that I'd love to make. So if I can get anything out of this that teaches me some lessons about the kind of games I like making, which are very much like Valheim, third person base building, combat, survival, cooperative, combat based, inventory based games. So I mean, I could go completely differently and do something that has none of my comfort zone and like really challenge myself, but I'd like to make something that feels and looks good, and in particular feels good. I want to get a prototype ready and done in this first stream. So before lunchtime, I've got 2 hours. I want to get our foundation in where I'm doing whatever the core loop is going to be, where I'm able to somewhat run around and do the thing, and then this afternoon we'll polish that up a little bit, and then tomorrow we'll polish a bit more, we'll add some menus, maybe some light settings for sound design and stuff, and just call it done. Be happy with it, like a real nice vertical slice of something. And so that's why when I wrote down the first idea, it's literally like you move a guy around and he has like a weak attack, he can kill like one guy, but then that guy becomes one of yours, and then you're just moving all of these AI entities around that just attack each other. Like, the complexity of that game is considerably simple and can be done in the time that I have, which is 2 streams over 2 days, or 4 streams over 2 days. So morning afternoon streams, and maybe a little bit off cam sometimes. Like, I like to just like sit down and focus maybe, but if there's a particular problem that I come across, I'll probably do it off stream, but we'll be okay. Watched all of the tutorials and have watched quite a bit of your live streams on YouTube. I only found your channel 2 days ago and enjoying your content. Keep it up. Thanks, Ruben. I'm glad you like it, and I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep making more. I'm gonna learn about this sort of realm and the audience and what they want, and make cool stuff along the way. So I hope we keep it up. I hope we keep being something that is enjoyable. Also, hold my mic correctly on my thing. So we got one idea. There's also this other idea of just like a dual wielding sort of like badass. What attacks have we got for dual wielding? We've got stabs and double slashes. Bam, bam. Actually, it's 1 slash and a double slash. And then we could probably take the shield and just have it be a sword and be like, yeah, he has a block. Oh, that's a real nice animation. Tink, tink. That could feel really good. Oh, big sword, 2-handed. It's got his thrust. It's got his swipe. Anyway, so another idea is the dual wielder. So I was a fan of the first half of the first season of Sword Art Online, when he's like, yeah, I've got 2 swords, and everyone's like, oh my god, he's got 2 swords. He's like, it's a special skill no one else has. Just a cool little fantasy thing. So what would this game be? Just like fight hordes with your swords. Lots of juicy attack effects and smashing carnage, basically. I guess it could just be a survival game. It could be based on one of these like Vampire Survivor styles games. That'd be fine. It's just something to... It's just a little toy, right? It's just a little toy. That's an option. What other enemies have we got here? We got crossbows, pistols, assault rifles, mages, so that's good. I mean, this entire pack is great. Got a wand guy, got some hits, got some deaths. Oh, we've got some... Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. So yeah, you would like kill a character, I guess, and then have them merge back together. Skeleton with a resurrection. Okay. So that's really cool. We'll keep that open. Wait, where's the...
Okay, if there's one AI site builder you need to meet, this is dope tech from Wizards.
animations on KK? Yeah, sure, I want them. I would like those assets, please. Possibly. I would at least like to have it open. Where are your animations at? Here they are. Cool. Why does it say legacy? Alright, give me this one. Oh, it comes with some adventurers as well. Is there a problem? Because, well, we can't do the one pack thing for sure if we do this. Actually, no, we could. Because animations I don't think matter. So you got all of this. Okay. So we'll keep this open, or at least let's get this onto our board. Got some nice animations that we can play with. I mean, I do like this. It's the Adventures character pack. Is it the animations pack? I mean, okay. It won't be one. I mean, if I don't use these, are they gonna reprimand me for trying to do one pack? And then, but I actually used two because this one has the animations. Source. I don't want the blend files. Okay. But pay $8 to get 2 extra characters with accessories, a crafty engineer with a turret and a druid. Let's have a look. I mean, I'm going to pay them anyway. That's pretty cool. I'm not going to use them, but I'll pay for them because I'm a nice person. The extra version includes 3 alternative textures per character to give some extra variation in the color on your adventures. Yeah, I really love this art style. I think it's like really cute. I think it's really cool. Okay, so we're possibly going skeletons. What else does this artist have? So there is a dungeon. If we just ignore the idea of one pack, we've got Spooktober. Got a dungeon. I'd like to avoid level design. I'd like to focus on the sense of power and just like fighting. So I'd like to, for example, just have an environment top down that's just like these big overscaled skeleton remains that create the arena that you move around, and that'll be fine. And just like reuse that one pack, and not worry too much about like adding a ton of extra stuff. I really do like these old skeletons though. I thought they were quite cute. These are also minigame variety pack. I mean, so we do have. Why am I not seeing the new? This here, it's like Halloween bits, right? And I'm like, I don't even actually see it here. Here, unless I'm blind. Oh, Halloween bits right there. Yeah. Okay, so what we got? If we do use another pack, this would be quite cool. And I kind of do want to make it co-op, right? So it's just thinking about how does it work in co-op when you're potentially replicating a lot of entities when it comes to squads of skeletons. I'm not too sure about that. Just thinking in my head is like you could do it. You could just replicate the data that's like the position of a group, the size of that group, and its formation style. So like just a blob, right? And say it's got 20 entities in there. I could convert these skeletal meshes and their animations into VATs, essentially, like animated textures. Yeah, they are really key assets. I could convert them into animated textures and then have a Niagara particle system render the squads of units, and I'm just moving data around the scene, and over the network that's a lot cheaper than saying like there's 20 elements moving on a nav mesh at any one time in just one squad, and then there's like 100 or so units moving around the map and fighting, and they're AI driven and this sort of thing. And so you would just move these blobs of units that are just a visual representation from a particle system into each other, and then I could just mask it with like loads of smoke, just like ruckus and like bones flying out and stuff, and then the groups just get smaller based on some logic. And at the end there's like a pile of corpses around the area where you use your other mouse button if you're near that area to like revive them, and so they will raise. And so you'll get that animation of them all coming back together, and now they're your color and they're your units. And if it's in 2-player, I guess you would just have 2 players doing the same thing. I kind of prefer co-op over PvP. You're both necromancers, just necromancing. And that's just that sense of like power. Does it give you a sense of power? Let's think about that for a second. If I'm moving around the area and something else is doing attacks and something else is like damaging enemies and then they're reviving, like, does that really give you a sense of power as a player? Like, do you intrinsically get that sense of power? And I don't think you do. I think it's too passive for you to really feel powerful in that scenario. Because I'm not going for power in the sense of electric. I really want to make something juicy and like with a lot of game feel. So I think of things like haste, and that gives you a sense of speed, and it's very like it's an immersive experience of gliding across these hills, and you feel that sense of speed as you gain speed, and you're achieving these like runs in haste. And then in like Peak, where it's a climbing game, you get a real sense of fatigue through the way that works. YouTube Restream didn't work. Are we not on YouTube? Yeah, and in Peak you get that real sense of fatigue through the game feel, the way that the stamina runs down and you start to get like slower and heavier and things like you get that sense of like trying to reach for the next safe like platform that you're going to stand on, ledge to grab. And so when I think about power as the theme, I really want to get that sense of power in the moment you play. Absorb the souls of the enemies and add particles and scale up the player, give them a sense of power. Yeah, I mean, if I could go for something where you're actually like, it'd be cooler if you were like smashing the ground and like there were these big cracks appearing, and like the more powerful you get in that regard, like you're saying, just the more epic these effects become, like just blasts of like earth coming out, fire, and having a lot of like physicsy sort of like explosive enemies like flying away and doing ragdolly stuff would make you feel powerful, like just that extra level of juice, which I could jump into. There doesn't need to be any text. We can play with symmetry in there for sure. I mean, you could literally have enemies coming at you in like duplicate lines, and all your environment art is like a symmetrical thing. For co-op, I mean, it would just be the case that there'd be 2 of you doing it. That's all I can think of in that regard. Mouse only is easy. It's just like move over there, and then I could even have it where you right click and you have like a wheel of things that you can do at any time, and they maybe take some sort of, maybe they take power to activate these abilities. And so you got this you got like a wheel of abilities, and then one of them is this massive smash that requires a lot of power to do. But when you have a big group of enemies that you need to defeat, you'll use that, smash them all, get all your souls back, get all your power back, carry on. And so it becomes a little sort of trade-off little mini game. So this content is a gem, thanks for sharing, no worries. If I go to view our account here, we've got the Kenney Jam Power thing. I'm just going to bring this over here and check out our live stream here. You're right, it didn't link it. Like, it actually just didn't link it. That's a shame. I'm just gonna delete that forever. Yep, that's gone. So yeah, we had this live stream coming soon, and then it never actually went live, even though I'm live. So, oh well. You waited for a while. Sorry, sorry about that. I don't know. You're like, notify me, and then it just didn't notify you. Well, we'll learn for next time. And so yeah, the problem there was Restream. I did have a conversation with some of my colleagues about like just ignoring Twitch, but I can already see there's actually people there on Twitch. So either way, let's carry on. So there's that anyway. So those are those assets. Let's take a look at more of the Kenney stuff. So just in case there's something that comes to mind, like, oh, that'd be a really cool feeling of power. Like this. Making things out of this, and then like smashing them to pieces. Just big punches and stuff. Thing is, you need animations for the smashies. Googly eyes. Googly eyes in what engine? I've made googly eyes before in Unreal as well. Yeah, bricks would be cool. We are 52 minutes in. We really need to hit some sort of nail on the head soon about what we're going to begin making, so then I'll start making it. Shape characters. Oh, they've got little faces. Oh, that's cool. Could do something with this. This is just giving me peak like character creation vibes, and it allows me to create some UI, which is obviously what we're known for, so that would be pretty cool. I'm going to take a picture of this one and then decide like, what could I do with this? What could this become? Bring this down. Power pals. Call it power pals. Something about. If I'm just using the mouse only for the abilities. Oh, you're in the Discord, yeah, sweet. If you're these little guys and it's cooperative, or yeah, you could have something based on power that's like you've got to hold down the mouse button to charge up a power of like a jump, and then like jump yourself up onto a platform, and you've just got to like climb up. So it'd basically be like 2D Peak, or Bennett Foddy's, you know, like fall down and get annoyed game, but it's based on the power that you put into your jumps through using just your mouse at an angle, and you like fire yourselves around. And then how I could make that be more interesting in a co-op sense could be like, I was going to say you could get one friend to stand on the other one, and then like if I pull my power and they pull their power, and then I fire mine, it shoots them, and then they can shoot a second time to get somewhere higher. And then it's just a case of like, well, how does my friend get me back to where they are? And so maybe there's just a button like right click to like teleport you to your friend, just to make that a cooperative feeling. Or you could have some other link that's like right click pulls, left click pushes. UI and HUD, since you won't be using text, red faces quit, green faces next, and they look pretty cheeky. Yeah, I like that idea. We'll I really like the pack actually. Like, it's got all these different faces that you can pick for your character. And it's got the little dead face as well, which would be cool. And then we got some platforms, and we can just make something out of the platforms. And we could technically make a game out of one asset pack with this one. And I think it would be quite topical, like that friend slop kind of design of. I think someone gave it another name recently, like friend. I can't remember. Anyway, but is that a good idea? Should I make a climbing game? Should I make 2D Peak? And we'll basically like bounce around. I'll use these assets to make like different pickups. So I'll have like a circle with this square on top as just like, now it's a potion. That's going to heal you from the damage you took when you fell back down. I might do this one. Power. The feeling of power from these little 2D characters and only using your mouse, and that sort of like spring pull, smash the character up into the air. I should definitely do some stuff that's like smashing through walls, because that will feel quite powerful. It's like you charge it up and then you like you smash into a wall to open it up and move along the air, move along the scene. It's a 2D game. Though I could potentially turn this into the 2D sprite, the 2.5D. So it could be no text symmetrical, co-op, mouse only, 2.5D. It could be all those things, because what I could do is take these textures of these blocks and put them onto a cube. And so now I've got a world that I can build. Hey Glimmer, how you doing? We're doing a games jam today. We're doing a games jam. We've got a couple of ideas. Yo, welcome. We've got a couple of ideas. Let's have a look at where we got to. We had, power. So this is like mouse click power. Oh, it's caps. Mouse click power charge up, release to smash character around into things. Boom, crash, smash. Peak inspired game. Co-op. Climber challenge, basically. Cool. So there's that little idea, and it could be 2.5D as well. So that actually works for a lot of the context. We got the dual wielder. I mean, that was just like, I could make a game where you have a sense of power through, like, you could charge up these animations and then smash and do lots of damage to enemies, and enemies could go flying around. Cooperatively, just like fighting each other is kind of meh. Fighting enemies, sorry, it's just so done. It's done. We're done with that. We're past that in games design. Every game, there's enough games where you can just fight basic characters moving around. Making it juicy is its own challenge. And it is something that I'm fond of. I do love, and I haven't actually finished a game of, well, I have. It's called Guards. If you're interested, it's on Steam. Guards with an exclamation mark. So I do like making combat-based games. This one was a game top-down where you use your left mouse button to move your character around, and you have some minions that follow you, and they will then fight other AI that are around the map. Those AI die, and then you right-click to resurrect them back up. It's actually based on a game from many, many years ago. I wonder if I could find it on itch.io, actually. I bet you I can. Necromancer. It was such a good game. Ah, it's not there. It was a really cool game. Man, it was like in the 2020s. Like, even earlier even. I think it's like right-click to Necromance. This is the one. Check this game out. Wonder if I could just play it. Oh, I have to download it. I'm not going to do this right. Whoop. Just give me the game. No thanks, just take me to the game. I've already paid for this in the past, so I'm not going to pay for it again. I just don't know where it is. Okay, so extract all of this to my desktop. We'll just play it quickly. This is a great one. Let's pause the music. Get this on screen, right? Nope, I don't want it over there. I want it over here. Nope, I don't want it on that screen. I want it on this screen. It's just not letting me. Think of doing the jam, but not sure. Just hang out with me, man. I mean, do the jam if you obviously. So in this case, you don't have a character, but you do have these little dudes. And so you get them close to another unit. Oh, come on. You have to intercept them. They do a little bit of fighting. Right click. Get more enemies. You get more characters. What I like to do is not necromance until the last minute. So I'm just going to play this for 5 minutes because you'll see sort of like how this works. And so I was thinking I could make something like this. Instead of using navigation on the entities, I could use, because that's the most expensive part in Unreal Engine, is using the nav mesh. So I could just use like some form of voids where they come in contact with this, but it's actually a circle, so they would eventually move around it. But ultimately just be recreating this game, which I've always wanted to do. But it would just be recreating this game, which... yeah, power scaling, it gets really cool with this. Bam. So what you can do is try and get these guys to go around. Actually, doing this and then having a group over on the other side is a great way. So you come around the back of these guys, you necromance, and then now you've surrounded them. So it has its own little quirks on actually interesting gameplay as well. So I've now lost like some of my cool guys, and we're not going to be able to defeat these big ones, I don't think. In fact, they've already killed. Run away! So yeah, now I've lost all my power, so I fail. I failed. There's no way I can actually do this section of the game now. Oh, there's one of the golems. So later on you get the golem, and then you get really powerful. So that was the idea behind this, was just to create something similar to that. Yeah. So we'd have this guy as your main character, and we'd have all of our skeletons, and we sort of left click to move our character around the screen. I guess what we could potentially do is have all of the skeletons just follow your mouse. So I could just like left click over somewhere, my necromancer would move over there. Use my AI that are following my mouse. Yeah, the difficulty spiked, right? So once you get to a certain mass, then you have these new enemies come, and if you fail, like, you're just going to lose. You do end up, once you go back down to that smaller scale, you do end up getting, because these enemies, they walk off screen and despawn, and then the game will pull in like the cheaper enemies again. So that's pretty cool. And the cool thing about that is it's a systemic game. So I just focus on getting that to work in an optimized way that and in a way that I can play it in co-op with a friend. And so there are their own challenges to that. And obviously it's going to be very inspired by right click to necromance. But the discussion that we had, Guillermo, for your reference, as you might not have been here, was it doesn't really give us... the power scaling is cool, but what I really wanted to do was get a sense of power. Like, I want it to be the case that I interact with the game and the game is making me feel powerful. Like I'm like, one of the first things I mentioned was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to make a game that was like kind of based on Prototype from the old PlayStation days, where whatever you do is just like, it's epic power smashes and enemies flying around and like loads of cool shit happening. And also no text build, which is fine. No dialogue, no lore, straight gameplay. I don't need text. I literally don't need text. Like, I'll put like a music slider in and it'll just have iconography. It's fine. I'll have to make the iconography out of the asset packs because one of the goals is to do that. So anyway, there's that sense of power where it comes from like necromancing. There's this sense of power which is like, oh, we could just have like weapons and abilities and health bars and fight enemies and get stronger and bigger. And someone mentioned like maybe you take the souls and you become stronger and larger and your attack starts swiping across like loads of enemies. Actually, it'd be really, really cool. Like if you got larger and now you've got these little hordes of enemies coming in, but your sword's massive and you're just like bam, bam, just like you are the giant. That power scaling, that feeling would be really cool. And then our last idea is Power Pals, or whatever we'll call this, in which you hold down your mouse and you move your mouse, and when you release, you get this like screen shake smash boing, and your character like moves up the challenge. And so there'll be walls to smash through. You and your friend are trying to do this climb together. Power coming into the feeling of just like charging up and smashing this guy around. So that could be a good one. So yeah, this one's power scaling. This one's sense of power in combat, like getting stronger, larger. I think the idea from the chat was pretty cool. Get swole. And then this one I really like because Peak was really popular, and this just immediately reminded me of Peak. It will give me a chance to do like a little character select UI on stream, which will teach people a little bit about how I would do a character select in a co-op game. To replicate that information, and then we can have the little funny faces and the little funny shapes. Being a circle in a game about climbing, if I do it with physics in particular, is going to be quite fun. This sounds like the most fun one to make, and these two sound really epic. Like, and they would also be fun to make, a little bit more challenging, a little bit more work. This. Another thing to consider for completability within like 8 to 12 hours, right? We don't have long. These two games here, they don't really need level design. They just need like a flat plane that you play on, as we saw in the reference game. They don't really need much more than that. I could just make a game that has the features that we want, to give you the feeling that we want, do enough in the environment design and the coloring to make it feel nice, like have some big sort of rock structures made of dead skeletons and stuff, sure, and it would look cool and it would look stylized, and we can have some little dudes with torches running around lighting up the area, that sort of thing. We could make it look cool. With this game, because it's a challenge based game, you've got to build a lot of level. Like, it's a platformer ultimately, so with a platforming game comes a lot of level design. Let's write these conversations down. So like it's cool to just immortalize these things, like pros and cons. Pros, map is easy, just plain with some details. What are the pros are there to this? Like, for me, like a game I've always wanted to make or to replicate. Right click to necromance. Cons. Replicating lots of entities. That's going to be a challenge to actually code. Replicating lots of entities. That's pretty hard. Yeah, exactly. PCG will handle like producing like large area points of interest and then like details around the area for sure. 100%. You're absolutely right, and that is exactly how I'd want to do. So that'll be fun and easy as well. So yeah, easy map details. Oh, yeah, you're yeah, have a good point. Let's write PCG in there. So that is how we would want to do that. Cons: replicating lots of entities. So it's experimental. I've done it a few times. We don't need to try to do it with Niagara, although if I was going to do it properly, I would want to do it with Niagara. I would want these entities to not be actual like blueprints. Hey Zero, welcome to the stream. We're just talking about 3 different ideas, and we're just going over some pros and cons right now. This is cool. Move that out of the way. I'm gonna do this. So the other con for this is like not so much power feeling opposed to power scaling, which is still cool, but it is something that I mentioned that I'm not too keen on. For this one, again, easy map with details, PCG, right click to Necromancer Inspiration, no. So sense of power in scaling size and combat power, smashing tons of enemies in one swing would be basically the end of the game. It's like you want to get to the point where you're like massive and you're just like smash and everyone's like, yeah, power. And if I could, I would like layer on the metal, like the industrial, just like just get really fucking into it, right? Pardon my French. Cons, again, if I want to make a co-op, replicating lots of entities, again, it doesn't need to be more than 100. I think if we keep the camera quite zoomed in, we can make you feel surrounded by making our 100 enemies larger. I have done 100 replicated enemies before, so I know how to do it. It can just be a little bit expensive, and if we want them to move around in formations, that will become potentially a little bit expensive again. Or we could skip entirely the concept of using navigation and we instead move our entities manually. Then that's a lot of replication of the network again. Replicated ability system, I mean, there's only 3 swings, so I'm not too worried. And if we use the gameplay ability system, it's natively replicated, but we wouldn't need to. Like, for me, replication is like one of my superpowers, right? It's something that I can, and I've done it on stream before. It's like I'll just open a project and be like, okay, which bits need to be replicated and in what way, and what would be best for each scenario. It's something that comes very naturally to me as I've done it for a very long time. So I'm not too worried about replicating it. There's some awesome options for replicating in Unreal, and that's the gameplay ability system. And if you don't want to do that, say you've got a really simple game where it's just like a couple of attacks, a little bit of movement, then you don't even need to use the gameplay ability system for that complexity. It's just an overhead at that point. You could do it a lot quicker by just coding it. And I can show you how to do that when we do the stream. So yeah, we could do that one. And so this con on both of these is just a question of, am I going to have enough time to do it? And I think because I've done it in the past, lots of hundreds of enemies, I was the lead designer and technical designer on Starship Troopers Extermination, which, you know, there's just a lot of tick boxes to consider and a lot of things that will affect the performance that you can do to minimize cost. And then also we had a big team of programmers who were able to also do some back-end things. But I've also done one on my own. I can show you it quickly. Let's open another page on YouTube. Let's go Loki Game Dev. I can't even remember what I called this project. But I worked on this with a guy called Chemo, who made this cool grid system which managed our enemies. And here we've got like these are virtually animated AI moving around. Super cheap. Guards had a lot of enemies. Yeah, guards did have a lot. throughout the level though, like not all at once, whereas this is like all at once. And so we look into the performance here, and you can see that like the tick time for all the different AI is quite high. I think we're running it through editor here. I think I actually have an improvement on this as well, like an unreleased. I don't know why I didn't release the video, but there is an update 3. I'm not going to be able to find it because it's private, but basically there's another one where we actually shoot them all. In fact, it be on my Discord. So if we could jump over to the Discord here and check out, behold, my stuff. Yeah, you can see this here. If it loads, you got some like combat basically. All of these guys on the floor are hierarchical instant static mesh based bodies that fill up the landscape. And then I think my mate probably carried on with this. I actually stopped working on it because I needed to get a job. I need money. So my mate worked on this. I think he actually added like, you know, the blood decals on the floor through the RVT. So render virtual textures, just like blood everywhere, which was cool. And then I really enjoyed these hordes, but he wanted to go more of like a stealth action as well route. So like a trade-off between the two. I ended up losing steam on the project, sadly. Would have been a really cool one. Might go back to that one day. But hey, point being is I know the methods that we could employ in order to get ourselves that's in co-op, by the way. So that was two friends running around doing that. So we could do that. We could do that. Bear with me 2 seconds. I've got I have a desk. This is the desk that I'm trying to sell on the marketplace. .7 inches by like, do I have my tape measure? Yeah, it was cool, man. It was a cool little project. Should have finished it. Would have been a game. Just checking up my messages. Bear with me. I have 4 people interested in the desk. Whatever. Anyway. Alright, this one, cons. Platforming map design. Again, you could use PCG. Could try using PCG with rules to create the climb. And I think that would make the most sense for like trying to come up with a rule-based system to facilitate the gameplay, which you're gonna do as a level designer to build out the map. You're gonna be like, oh yeah, you know, these are the metrics and this is how I'm gonna build it. So if I can just do that through PCG, even better. Although there'll be a bit of a learning curve there, because I've used PCG to make volumetric data, but I've not necessarily used it to do particularly unit shifts and things like that. So there's some risk there. PCG is procedural content generation, if you look on YouTube, you'll see lots of ways of how to make forests with PCG. So I'll go and show you what it is quickly. Just Aziel Arts PCG. So Aziel is a really good developer. He does a lot of cool stuff. Follow this guy, he's awesome. He does a lot of stuff with PCG and technical art, environment artist by trade, I believe. So you can make towns with it as well. Like here's an example of towns. He's got some spline stuff here. Trying to find a really good and obvious example of how it's done. So we'll just check out this one. Just click one. Skip. So you see all this data here. These are actually individual points on this in a simulation that's made from a graph, and you can color them black to white based on gradients from certain points or based on normals. You can play with the density. You can do a lot of cool stuff with it. And so you'll see here what he ends up doing is he procedurally generates all these trees into a hierarchical instance static mesh, which is the same method that you'd use for foliage on the old school landscapes in Unreal, but now you do it with more sort of like data driven. In this case, he's actually using a map, which is awesome. He's using textures. I want to learn how to do that, but for our case we're actually making a tower, so that doesn't really matter. Yeah. Slash quest, what's this one? Just getting distracted for a second. It's like a super long sword with a smiley face. That's so cool. Theme, 2 button controls and growing, yeah. Really cool. Press A and D to see what happens. Wee! Wee! Woo! Wow! Okay, his sword gets bigger every time he kills someone, I think, through like... Oh no, he lost size because he hit the bad stuff. How do you cross over? I don't know. Anyway, cool little game. Got a pretty interesting animation pack there for one of those things. We're trying to do the 1-pack challenge, which I think I didn't write it down on the list, but we were trying to do the 1-pack. I was thinking of doing the 1-pack challenge. So that is a thing. Kenney, where's your game jam at? Okay. Oh, this is no longer itch.io. Here we are. So at the bottom you got some challenges. Single pack, no text, mouse only, co-op, symmetry, cross-dimensional. I can basically do all of them. I can do all of them with the climbing idea, because we just use the 1-pack, we make a world out of it. We don't need text because we just don't need text. Mouse only because we're just using it to drag and shoot. We're doing co-op just because we're doing co-op to climb up a mountain together. We'll come up with some mechanics maybe that let you help each other along the way. Symmetry, that would actually be pretty cool with PCG. You could either have sections of the climb, like split both players up, and you actually climb it 2 ways. And there could be some benefits for splitting up and doing that symmetry challenge, in the sense that if there's something that helps you work together when you're in proximity, like lifting people or something, then splitting up is a challenge, but the benefit being that there might be some items that you collect on the way that increase your stamina or heal up some. Maybe there's like a very close relation to Peak as a game in which you have like hunger and other negative effects, that you get more items if you split up during that symmetry moment. There's also games like Ibanob, if you've ever played Ibanob, which is, I guess it's not so much symmetry, but you have an inversion, so you both walk and you can control yourselves independently, but there's like a puzzle mechanic around essentially being upside down, and the gravity is reversed. That's a cool little game. Yeah. Go back to our Fig Jam board. Dude, I just love these guys. I'm trying to convince myself that this is the one that we're going to build. I just need to realize more of the design and why it's going to be fun and why it's going to give you a good sense of power. So we'll change these pros. Fun co-op inspired by Peak. I think what I'm going to do is take a 15-minute break. I'll leave. It won't be legible, but I'll leave it here. And I'll write big text over here. Give ideas or feedback in chat. Page up. That was a bad idea. Page down. Wow, that just doesn't work. Okay, whatever. Just gonna leave that there. I'll be right back. I'm back. I am back. I am here. I am alive. I feel like I was gone for more than 15 minutes. We'll see. I don't know what the time is. Alright, I got half an hour. I'm going to cut the stream in half an hour. What we're going to do right now is we're going to turn camera on. Bam! I'm alive. I'm a person. I'm right here. Okay, so I've decided. I want to see what the chat said here. Okay, so feedback. Not a huge fan of platforming, so definitely biased. Hordes joining forces around the player and friend act as a meat shield, while the other necromancer grows in power. Basic range attack with splashy AoE skills. When players come close, their hordes combine and give a buff to each other, and when they separate, they divide hordes into equal sizes. Your game jam and call at the end of the game. My 2 cents. Your game jam and call at the end of the game. At the end of the day. Yeah, cool. I do love your idea. I'm gonna write that down on the Necromancer game. So maybe what we'll do is we'll just do an offshoot game jam one day where we do that. I really like that. So for co-op, you mentioned like one player controls the Necromancer. One player is a sort of like a knight who has more combat abilities, shields to defend quickly, split and merge hordes or something like that. One player in front act as a meat shield while the Necromancer grows in power. Basic attack range, splash AoE. When the player comes close, the hordes combine and give a buff to each other. Yeah, split and merge horde buffs, and general like growth in power. I do really like that. But what I want to do is I want to go with this. I just had a chat with my partner. She's a great game designer. She doesn't do it as a profession, but she did go to university, and that's how we met. And so I often bounce things off of her. And she said, you know what would be cool if each one of these had a power, and it was a climbing game in which if I just take a copy of this, crop it, we'll just take one platform quickly, just rotate this so it's kind of flat. Let's say you've got this world, right? Whoa. Whoa. This is going to be really sort of hacky. Say you've got this like tower world that you're supposed to be climbing up, and it's symmetrical, right? Like there is it has to match that theme of being symmetrical. So why did that not work? So I'll start with that. Right, so you've got some platforms that you've got to climb, and it's symmetrical, and then you've got your little dudes. So let's grab the cube guy. Let's grab one sec. Yeah. Can you do me a favor and dismantle this desk? Because someone wants to buy it. Well, give me a minute because I'll be done. I'll be done in time. I'm just gotta check these messages because someone actually wants to buy the table conveniently on the day I'm doing this games jam. They're just checking their schedule. They don't know when they'll be ready, so it could be between 12 and 1. But it doesn't take long to dismantle, so I won't worry about it too much right now. We'll do it in a bit. All right, thank you. I'm back. So let's grab our circle character, and we'll grab our, I think we've got like a diamond character, and technically we could have a triangle character as well. And so you get to pick your shape, you get to pick your color, and you get to pick your face in the game. And each of these has a different ability. So the circle can bounce off of walls. So you could imagine you charge up your power and you you'd aim so that you bounce up, doing, 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 and you sort of like bounce around here. You've probably got a button like right click to anchor yourself when you get there. So this one bounces, doing, 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 has its own little vibe. The block can lock, so he can like jump up here, hit this wall. They might even like slide, but essentially you could hold right click and it would lock you in place, so then your friend could potentially like use you as a platform to like get onto and then get up to another section. So that would be quite cool. You'd have this one, I think, is like the grapple. So if I rotate this character, you would essentially be able to sort of shoot a line that would give you maybe like a swing. You could maybe come up here and then use your ability to shoot yourself up. And so essentially they have some sort of grapple, some method of grapple. And then this last guy I don't have an idea for really. Bounce, lock, grapple, and then you've got one more character that could also do some sort of power. And so when you and your friend like lose the game, you could choose to change characters, change it up a bit, see what else you could do. I have a cat asking to leave the room. Okay, so for the diamond guy, what could we do with that character? I wonder. I mean, ultimately it's going to be based on physics, so I feel like this guy is just going to fall down onto his side half the time anyway. So maybe there's something that can inform on a game design idea for this character. That maybe that doesn't happen and he does actually have he shouldn't have a physics volume that isn't the shape that he is. His physics collision should be the shape that he actually is, which means he would sit like this. What could I do with this guy? Oh, I wanted one that maybe could just teleport to friend. So it could be him. So he's kind of like one of the easy mode ideas, I guess, is like you could have a friend who's grapple hooking his way up, and you could have a friend that could teleport to your buddy. Like you'd end up above him and fall down or something, which might not be good if there's ledges like this, and you sort of teleport to your friend. You'd end up like here in a brick, which wouldn't work. So maybe teleporting isn't the right idea. What could this guy do? What could this guy do? Yeah, teleport isn't a great idea. So this guy can become a platform. This guy's just super bouncy and it's just a good laugh. This guy's got a grapple, which could be quite fun. So one of the things that I do sometimes is I just use GPT. So struggling on ideas for the red diamond character in a game about climbing a symmetrical tower inspired by Peak in a 2D platforming game about climbing a symmetrical tower inspired by Peak. Icy Tower, I think it's called. Let's just take a look at the images here. Yeah, so in this game you can go up, and then if you fall all the way down, you die if you hit the bottom here. So it's just about climbing these platforms. And the puzzle with these is that obviously it's not symmetrical, and so you're just climbing. So there's something about that, about maybe not going too symmetrical with it. Icy Tower. There was also another game. Just message. In a co-op 2D platforming. Heave Ho was the other one, yeah. Square, lock, I become a platform for friend. Triangle equals grapple. They shoot and pull self around. Diamond equals. See what GPT comes up with. Here are some strong gameplay concepts for a red diamond character designed to complement the others in your cooperative tower climbing game. Wonderful. Hi there, Peldon. You produce too much content, awesome stuff. I just have no time to watch it all. That's okay. It will always be there. The diamond-shaped character could maybe propel itself upwards, but since it's always laying on its side, it always 45-degree shot. I like that. I like that. Let's write that down. It makes it more difficult for him, obviously. 45-degree, or just like diagonal shot, essentially. Yeah, since he will, since he will be on his side. Let's see what the design direction is. An aggressive utility. The diamond gives off a more intense, sharp vibe than other shapes. Think powerful, active, maybe even a bit chaotic. Since the others are focused on traversal or support, the diamond could introduce offensive, hazard interaction, or environment disruption. The diamond could slam, destroying temporary obstacles. I want everyone to be able to destroy temporary obstacles as part of the power creep. Just to mention as well, I didn't mention this, but I'm thinking that you essentially have this this bar, right? That's your stamina bar. So we'll color this in sort of like a gray. We'll color this in a little bit of a green. And so as you charge, it depletes this bar, and then you let go and it shoots you. And for the block guy who can slide down walls, his bar will actually refill whilst he's sort of in that state, or if he locks, this will lock. And then you can use your left mouse to charge and fire off in another direction. Grab, charge, grab, this sort of thing. As you reach certain points in the game, we'll use these coins as an example. These will increase your bar. So you end up with this concept of like, well, now my bar is larger, so now I can actually charge for even longer, and so you'll end up like just firing yourself up, and so the sense of power will actually grow as you progress. So we'll make sure that's written down. Increases power bar. Just write power bar plus plus. So you'll get that sense of power from that. So they all move by charging a jump. Yeah, sorry. That's what I'm gonna go for. Yeah, it's like the theme of the jam is power, and so I want it that the core mechanic is about charging up this power shot. And so the bouncy ball will charge his, and then depending on how much power they use, they'll shoot up and then land. The block is the same, except he can lock himself and become a platform. The diamond's still not too sure. So yeah, I'll actually put a question mark back on there. Grapple, again, he can charge and shoot, like he'll fire up. I mean, I could make it the case that he doesn't have a grapple hook and he's actually just an arrow that just like shoots into walls, and so his whole thing is just like shooting around. But that's very similar to the lock platform guy. But yeah, I kind of want them to each have a different traversal feeling, but still always be based on that power charge shot mechanic. But yeah, he could be an arrow. That could be quite cool rather than a grapple, and then I could give the grapple to this guy. And it could be the case that he goes up and he shoots a grapple out, and it actually shoots from every angle that he's at, whichever orientation he was in at the time, because obviously he can be spinning, but you could like activate the grapple and it would basically shoot from the four sides, and he becomes a platform sort of in the air, and so your friends could use that as the grapple. Like they could use that to help them. So it's like a 4-directional grapple, and then this guy could just be an arrow. If that guy was just an arrow, it's not going to help your friends. Think of like Deep Rock Galactic here. Like each character in Deep Rock Galactic has a way to like help their friends. Bouncing character doesn't help your friends. Locking character does. 4D grapple does. Again, these two, the lock and 4D grapple, like they are ostensibly the same. It's just this guy can only do it on walls, which means that this guy is essentially the lock guy but better, which sucks. The other thing to think about with the grapple is it overpowered, and is it going to be difficult to do? So if let's say he shoots a grapple up here, I guess you could have the grapple be like gravity based, so it actually falls and it's like a hook. So it could hook onto here, but then what do? You don't have to use stamina to get to that point. You can just pull and it will pull you to it. But then you're grappled, so now again you are like the lock guy. Like what does it do that actually differentiates it? And currently like nothing. It doesn't differentiate in any way. Let's go back to GPT, see what it came up with. Anchor reverse grapple. Diamond pulls an object or friend towards itself instead of moving. Yank a player across a gap. Pull an object around. That's pretty cool. I mean, we should just write some of these ideas down. So we've got like pull / like anchor. Obviously got to do this with no text as well, so that's something to remember. It's like we're also doing the challenge that's like only use one pack. Okay, so there's the pull or anchor. explode or detonate. Charges up and explodes, destroying unstable elements but stunning itself. Create a space or reset broken parts of the environment. Sacrifice mobility for team progress. Wall spike. Slams into a wall and sticks to it, acting like a spike baton. Yeah, sure. It's like I said that with square. We already have that. Ricochet dash. Performs a powerful dash that ricochets off surfaces like a pinball. We already said that the bouncy one does that. Magnet pull. Temporarily attracts or repels metal objects. Give a bunch of other ideas for any design. I like that Deep Rock Galactic's 4 characters each have a locomotion option, some that are designed for co-op like the zipline, some that are for scouting like I think it's like the jetpack or the grapple pull hook. Want to give players options, yeah. And again, that feeds back into power. It's like you have a power, and there is also a mechanic that's based on charging a power. Bounce between walls, sure. Double cling, can grab 2 surfaces at once. Creating like a bridge, a drill claw, dig through destructible parts, teleport anchor, throw an anchor, and then teleport it to it. I mean, that is pretty cool. Let's write that one down. That one's an idea. Let's just write this as like pull ally, teleport to hook. So an interesting idea. Zipline launcher. Yeah, I mean, zipline is a cool one. I don't know how it works in the context of this, but like zipline. A zipline would be cool. I've got another message on the selling of my desk. Is this still available? Yes. Are you still interested? I'm getting like loads of people ask. But like no one is following through yet. Bridge builder. Deploy a temporary platform. I mean, I prefer becoming a platform. I feel like that's more interesting. All others, we mentioned that sticky ball, a bouncy ball or sticky pack that clings to walls, which is the same as like this, so I'm not interested. Weight anchor drops a heavy object to become a movable tether point. Teammates can grab it. Something that leaves things behind is a cool idea. Although if I want to go with the peak as inspiration, having a little inventory of things that you collect along the way that you can use to be like, oh, I put something here permanently, and also I picked up some health stuff, like we'll be able to heal each other as we go up this big climb. I'd rather do that through like temporary items. Oh, a wind fan. Oh, dude, you could spin to create like an upward draft that would like boost your friend. That's really cool. Spin gust. Like this guy just like on the spot like just starts like spinning and he like creates an upwind, an updraft. So like you could like do that here, and then your mate could like jump and then like just get this nice effortless like hop into the air. That could be quite cool. Gust spin or whatever, spin gust, whatever, I don't know. Yeah, lock, bounce, lock, gust, spin. That's pretty cool. These two help with traversal. This one does not. Although maybe you could do a mechanic where it's like if you bounce into a friend, like so I bounce into this guy or bounce down into him, he like launches upwards, so you get like a cool jump out of it. That could be cool. Yeah, chain ladders, like anything that's like a ladder or a rope or anything like that needs to be like a temporary item if we do that at all. ice wall or crystals. Sticky bomb jump. Player throws a charge that explodes to launch nearby players. Slow fall. Reduces fall speed for nearby players. Encourages groups staying closer together. Boost another player elbow by crouching and letting them jump off your head. Shadow travel. Can phase into walls and move along them. Yeah, fair. Some ideas there. Yeah, for the arrow, what I like is that guy could actually shoot a friend. So he could be up here. Potentially. It could be the case that essentially when he shoots and comes up here, he leaves a trail behind him that someone else can kind of climb up and then use their stamina to basically push and jump upside. So this person could climb up the thing and then like jump over here. And then conversely, maybe if he's up here and he wants to help his friend get up, like shoot down, which leaves the grapple beginning here, this guy can climb up and then maybe you could undo and it just like pulls you back to where you were. So now you're like both up there. So this becomes like the arrow is like a grapple arrow. One thing that I'm interested in game design is obviously not making something that makes another thing superfluous. So like a grapple arrow. Well, now the block guy, he has the ability to lock himself onto a wall. Sure. You can always balance it as well, where it's like his stamina doesn't go down, but the arrow guy, the longer he's holding, like his stamina is decreasing, potentially. But yeah, if the grapple arrow doesn't have any downside to it, what essentially happens is you can shoot up, create a line which someone can climb, which is far superior to like a dude who can just click onto a wall. What I would do as well is I would make it so this guy actually like oh, apparently I can't change the scale of him non-uniformly, but yeah, you could have it that he basically becomes a wider platform as well, which is quite cool. Just trying to make sure from a fundamental design perspective that when I come back after lunch, I'm able to get started and be like really convinced that these are the best for complementary powers that don't like brush up against each other in terms of utility. I might actually ask GPT about that in particular. So we'll pop this open. Red diamond character. Give 4 abilities that don't make other ability that don't overlap with other four locomotion abilities. Locomotion abilities that don't overlap with each other in terms of utility. Utility, i.e. a lock to wall to become a platform versus be an arrow that leaves a climbable rope behind. Makes the wall lock superfluous. I think is the correct term that I like to use a lot. Unnecessary. Oh no, through being more than enough. That's the wrong word. Irrelevant, I guess. Relevant? Not irrelevant, but like yeah, I'll just say useless in comparison. The problem with all the push abilities is how to get the pushing character up there too. You probably need to distribute powers in a good way and have some pushing and some pulling. Maybe just start with 2 that need each other. It's a good point. Could probably just start with 2 that need each other. Give all the commission abilities to turn over in terms of utility. Okay. So I'm going to add little descriptions to these and just sort of take my gut feeling with it. So this is like, I can bounce and players can bounce on me as a team thing. I can lock and players can stand on me. This guy with his gust spin, like, it doesn't much. I'm gonna say I can pull players to me. So that's like a pull. That's the pull ally. The gust spin, like, each of these characters at the moment has like a cool locomotion ability where this guy can bounce around and have some fun. He can also like be a thing that a friend can bounce on to get higher. That's cool. And of course, anyone who can stand on anyone, you could charge both your bars and have the first person shoot, and then the second person moving with them would just shoot as well, and then you get a double jump out of it anyway. But the bounce, I think, I mean, you could deny the ability to launch if someone stood on top of you, I suppose. This guy is just going to sit on his side, so maybe we just like ignore this guy and just be like, nah, who needs a diamond? Who needs a diamond guy? Diamond guy doesn't make sense. He just like generally just doesn't fit the quota. Sorry, mate. You suck. So there is the gust spin. Oh, I just had another idea, which is like, so he could like grow, which means he could get to somewhere and then like literally grow and become this like shape that fills a gap. Like, you just get stuck in there. And so he's like saving your friends from falling back down through their symmetrical world design. But the problem with that, I suppose, is that a lot of the game is probably actually going to be played more on this kind of perspective. Like, it's going to be wider, right? And sometimes, I mean, anytime we have a platform, it's always going to be symmetrical. Poor Diamond Guy. Yeah, Diamond Guy, just sad times for Diamond Guy. Yeah, he could have a size power, but it doesn't make much sense because, of course, he's going to do it here and he's just going to fall down. It's of no use. Maybe the gust spin is the call. 12 o'clock. So I'm going to leave it there. Players can, yeah, bounce and gust spin create the same outcome again. So again, we're looking at game design in terms of utility, and we're saying, you know what, if you can bounce off this guy, you can get some height advantage based on this guy. The gust spin does the same thing. So there's an overlap there that I'm not happy with again. Zipline would basically just make the game like super easy, because you just have a zipline that you can just use at any time. So that's not like super great. I could just use this guy as an evil entity that is around the level that is a problem that you have to avoid. Could be an option. Oh, we do have another asset that we can use to inspire some game design as well, actually. I'll just grab that quickly. Put that down here. We'd always have this as like temp power. One thing I will say is, when we think about a game like Peak or Haste or Heave Ho, everyone has the same abilities. Everyone, you get a real sense of like your core set of abilities. It's a single set of abilities. It's far easier to create that game than it is to create something where everyone has different abilities. The idea came from my partner, was like, why don't they each have a different power, and that will make an interesting co-op game, rather than just you're just both climbing and there's nothing that really differentiates you from each other. It's just that you want to climb together because, and then you would have to create something that's the because, like you climbing together because you're gonna survive more if you're together. You have that, and Peak does this through having a backpack of inventory items that mitigates things that affect your health bar. So like if you take damage in Peak, you actually lose part of your bar, so you can only go so far up now. And I like the idea of like playing the Peak game idea in particular, because this obviously has a vibe of Peak, and it just makes for a good co-op, a good fun co-op game. Again, making a co-op game. Can you do $40? No. Making a co-op game in the time that we have, it's not a stupid idea. It's one of my superpowers. I can make a co-op game, it's fine. Yeah, making a co-op game that has like all these enemies in it, it's a little harder. It can take a little bit of time. I do have some example projects that do it, but is it worth the risk for the timeline? This one, am I going to make a fun game in the allotted time? That's symmetrical. I mean, you could have sections as well that are just like moving through. I think just climbing upwards is also fine. I want to do this symmetrical thing, but like I don't want it to just be platforms sticking out, and so you've got like a little platform that's like this. How often are you going to get into a position where this is actually impossible? Like you've got your dude. Make a copy. Whoops. Make a copy of him. He charges up his bar. He shoots. He can't make it because he's too small. So, okay. Well, now I know that my minimum size or distance needs to be something a little bit more acceptable. So now he jumps, he gets to here. He jumps, he hits this wall. I mean, he can stick, so he could then just jump here, which would be fine. For the bouncy person, they're going to be able to sort of bounce to here, shoot, bounce off this wall, and get up into this gap. That's fine. But then it's going to be this. But then I'm worried that it's just going to be the same challenge over and over again up this cliff face, right? Like you're just going up, and there can't be much difference. You can play with the walls and make them like further apart in symmetry. Symmetry, by the way, is just one of the challenges for like experienced devs. Like, what do you want to do with symmetry? So you can stretch it out like that. Um, but again, it's like you're just going to have a game that sort of like goes in and out and in and out. It's very symmetrical both sides, and um, that is what it is. Yeah, if we look at back at the jam page quickly, it's like symmetry. Your game should heavily feature symmetrical elements in visuals, mechanics, or both. So in this case, the mechanics aren't symmetrical, obviously. Does it give that much sense of power as well? Well, I'm going to leave the stream here. I'm going to go think about it offline a little bit more. This guy I might just get rid of, like we were talking about earlier, and just say, start with 2 or even just 1, and just be like, yeah, you got your bouncy guy and you got your lock guy, and see how that plays out. Just have fun with a little demo of it. Thinking ahead, the world can become more dispersed as you get more power ups. So your stamina bars can increase in that way. You could technically, everyone could share that one bar, but you could symmetry across the screen. So as I use my charge, he's using his charge as well, and you've kind of got to like talk to each other to share it. You're always going to rest on certain points and regenerate all of that, and then have one person shoot and then the other person shoot. It's kind of lame, I guess, in a sense. And so thinking back to our other ideas, just making sure that we're being diligent on like what would be better for the jam, and actually produce a good game. This one has more potential for just at least some interesting UI that I can show on stream again. So like little character select screen would just be a nice little thing to produce as an aside. Fun little UI. Character creation. I haven't done a character creation on stream yet, so there's a little pro there. There's so many of these like little climbing games that are out there, right? Like, let's go take a look. Climbing game. There's the Benefoli one. There's obviously Peak. We're looking for maybe a 2D climbing game. Get some inspiration from something here, maybe. Because this is basically what I'm seeing right now, is like this really simple steep sliding surfaces, like getting higher up and having like ice surfaces where you slide, or like really jagged like shapes that you need to climb through, is definitely like the kind of progression I think would make sense for this kind of game as you get closer, I guess, closer to the top. Or it's one of those, and this is what I hate as well about this game design at the moment, and one thing that's making me sort of hesitate is I don't just want to make a game where you're climbing upwards like these games where it's like, how far can you go? What number of meters did you reach? It's like one of those cheap like 2D flash like mobile games. Doesn't have much of a point. Isn't actually that much fun. So yeah, just like for that reason, like it's not that much fun um, to just climb this tower. Like I can't imagine someone wanting to download like a 1 to 2 gigabyte game from itch.io, because I can't make it work through the browser, especially with co-op. I need to have like a built version, and it needs to have like some plugins for the online play. I can't imagine people wanting to download that twice, play it together, and then all they're doing is climbing this like you've seen this game 100 times. There's nothing special about this game. It's not really pushing any boundaries. It's not doing anything interesting. It's not not much fun. Whereas so I'm hesitating on that idea because at least these ones like they could be like juicy fun, like you're doing it, like especially the idea that someone in chat mentioned, I think it was Ruben, about having this like the playoff between you and your friend. Your friend is the meat shield, and you are the necromancer, and it just sounds fun. But I might go after having explored this, and the whole point of exploring a game design is to point out its flaws and its potential scope. Think about the end picture of how it's going to feel, what the game feels going to be like. Is it going to be fun? It is going to be achievable. I could build this and play the prototype, but because of the amount of time, I'd spend basically this afternoon producing the prototype, play it, to then decide whether this is what I'm going to carry on with. And so what I like to do is like front load that decision making and try and like picture in my mind what the game is going to be before I actually like put pen on paper and start scripting, because it's the scripting that takes the time. Thinking of ideas is like the easy part, and thinking through the ideas is the easy part. You gotta have some imagination. Um, but yeah, what I'm seeing here with this is is not that exciting, right? Like, let's just like duplicate this up here and be like, yeah, you're climbing some platforms. And so what? What about it? Like, you can have obstacles in here that deal damage and items that you need to collect that are in like certain places that you and your friend can like collect, but um you could even get to some safe spot at some point, I guess, that's like, oh, we finally got, say, how would you do it? I guess you would like ditch the symmetrical for a second. Maybe you could do something like this. Grow. I guess you would grow this out. It stops being symmetrical on its own plane. It's still symmetrical. Have something like this, and then have like sort of a checkpoint essentially, where you can just chill for a second, almost introduce the next level. Just trying to think of like what the game is going to do here. This could obviously replenish any damage you've took. You'd have some damage items along the way. So you have a couple of these angry guys around. That you don't want to hit. You could even have them in the middle. That's fine. I mean, if you're going symmetry as well, you'd sometimes have them like just laid out, right? Symmetrical patterns. The diamond guy's angry because he didn't get selected for the team roster. That's his gripes. God damn, I just want to pick all of this. Create a new wall here. Just trying to explore what the end result is going to look and feel like, I guess. I have a couple of platforms around. we need something for healing. Let's have a look at what else is in this pack. There's this little star here. You could just have this as a little green star. That'll maybe just give you some healing. Also be cool for visual effects, like hitting walls and stuff, just having that like bounce off. You could use it for visual effects for things like little poison cloud areas as well. So you could have some different different challenges up the hill, basically. Say up the hill, it's up a mountain, I suppose. For the symmetrical as well, could also, just exploring options, is there's no reason we can't kind of symmetrical sideways. Can't grab those now? Not allowed. So there's a bit of non-symmetrical, but you kind of get the idea. It's almost like drawing it on a spline, and we'll go like left, right, up, and sort of like that makes it a little bit more interesting to play. Because now you've got some challenges around this, right? You could have areas that obviously, I don't know, don't really ever want to kill a player. It's great, yeah. We'll carry on with this. We'll go with it. I think with this concept that we've got maybe some pre-generated level sections that are populated across a spline that go throughout the world, and so we just generate some sort of spline, and then we use our pre-made like world chunks, and we just that we know are like somewhat completable, and then we just draw it out and then play it. And then of course I should just be able to play it solo. That should be fine. But I'll play it co-op with someone this evening. Yeah, let's give it its chance to live. As your friend just goes like bouncing around the room. Yeah, it's places as well like this where like I want to pull a friend because maybe his stamina's low now, and I'm going to pull him, and maybe it's just going to yeet them past like directly into the enemy. Yeah, there could be some fun. There could be some fun in here. This was our previous games jam. We made this game inspired by Severance. That was pretty cool. You can see that on our channel. We're going to get cracking on with this after I've had lunch. So I'll be back this afternoon. Hopefully I would have sold the table by then. Yeah, cute little dudes. Not usually the kind of game I'd make. I often make games that are a little bit more action oriented, and so maybe that would have been a more fun one. Can't stop coming back to the idea of doing the Necromancer just because the art is so cool. Maybe I'll submit 2 games. Maybe I'll just do like the bare minimum on this and the bare minimum on this. It's always so hard to decide where to fire from, right? It's like 3 hours of planning for like 20 hours of production. I mean, there's 48-hour jam, so spending like 5 to 10% of the time planning it doesn't bother me at all. I don't consider it as like wasted time. You've got to be really passionate about what you're going to make and convinced that like it's worth making on paper. Like on paper, like is that going to be fun? Um, Growing in scale, like smashing all these enemies, just that power fantasy, that power creep, um, that really gives a good sense to the theme of like, oh yeah, I'm way more powerful now. Can't make it with one pack though, sadly. I mean, I could probably do it. All the effects would be like I'd cut bits off these characters and just make all the effects out of like portions of these characters. So when you hit them, like it looks like bone fragments are coming out of the character. Obviously, sound effects and stuff we can pull from somewhere else. It just has a really nice animation pack with this character as well. And I am just, it's just something that I'm like so much more used to making is um, these action-based games. So creating one in a games jam is like of relative ease, and then I can just focus more on the juice. Um, the problem to some degree with this is, I guess, because of the sense that the necromancer is weaker and more vulnerable, and you need to have your knight as your like shield character. I guess for solo play, I'd need to make sure that the knight is like AI controlled, moves around you, or that you use your right mouse to control him. Maybe I don't know. Because yeah, again, another one of the challenges, mouse only. For symmetry on this, I would have like the hordes attacking in symmetry. So your challenge is like, how are you gonna how are you gonna deal with that basically? You got equal enemies coming from both sides. Like you need to just pick a side and go for it, and then necromance that to deal with the left hand side. And so the challenge is in the symmetry there. And the world environment design will be super easy. I don't need to worry about all this rubbish with like generating a world that works. It, it, it it really is just like make the combat feel juicy, get the AI working, and you're done. You're off to the races. Like you don't need to do much world design. And someone mentioned like I'd use PCG to just decorate some symmetrical points of interest around the map. That's like a arena, very similar to a Vampire Survivors game, and enemies just come on from the outside. Game is like easy to see the end. Is that easy to see the vision of the end without the edge cases that I'm seeing in the other game design? And there are a lot more mechanics in the other game design. Like this one is like move, attack, maybe shield. Um, with the other game, I've made it like quite complex. I could just get rid of the concept of these powers and just be like, yeah, you know what, you're just shooting yourself up this track. Um, with the bendy track, it does have something that's a little bit different to what exists out there already in terms of these like climbing games where you're just climbing upwards. At least this pushes the envelope somewhere. I don't just want to make a tower climbing game because they've been done 100 times. Like they're dime a dozen. There's like largely no point really doing it. Obviously, this challenge is impossible, but I guess if you put him in the corner, you might get lucky. I don't know. Maybe you put him here. Um, Being able to shoot yourself with half your stamina and then like click and drag, and it sort of pauses your character in there and shoot him upwards could be fun. Um, so you can like use your stamina to multi jump basically through the levels. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna end the stream there. I'm gonna go for lunch. I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna have a cup of coffee. I'm gonna have a little bit of a brain break. I really love the art on these characters, and I'd really love to make a game with it. I think. I mean, I also love the art on these characters. It's just funny and cute. So always difficult. So that's been a game design part one stream for the Games Jam. And thanks for joining me. Thanks for ideating. Thanks for feedback and thoughts. Appreciate you all. A little bit different from my usual streams where you might have learned something. But you see a little bit into the mind's eye of me, who have designed a few games and think about things a little bit holistically. So I hope that leaves you with some cool things to think about. And we'll see you for part 2 if you join us to see where the game goes. So thanks very much. I'll see you in a bit.